Sometimes our Paleolithic bodies are poorly or inadequately adapted to certain modern behaviors and conditions. This phenomenon is famously termed evolutionary mismatch by Daniel Lieberman. Diseases that result from evolutionary mismatch are termed mismatch diseases. Most of these diseases develop because a common stimulus either increases or decreases beyond levels for which the body is adapted, or there is an entirely new stimulus and the body is not adapted for it at all. The simplest cause of evolutionary mismatch is migration, like when northern Europeans moved to very sunny places. Their chances of developing skin cancer increase because pale skin is poorly adapted for dealing with higher levels of solar radiation. In this case, the stimulus is solar radiation, and it increases beyond the level to which the pale-skinned Europeans are adapted to cope with. Consider the miraculous work of technology and medicine. Today we have the opportunity to live well past the age at which we normally reproduce, but there is a trade-off. Living longer makes us more likely to build up damage to our heart and blood vessels and accumulate more mutations in various cell lines, leading to higher rates of heart disease and cancer as we grow older. Our bodies were not adapted to live as long as they do today. They were adapted to live long enough to pass on as many and as successful offspring as they could. Think about when caveman Billy gets chased by a lion. During this time, he experiences a burst of stress, causing cortisol to be released in his body. Cortisol in turn releases sugar into the bloodstream so caveman Billy can have the energy to get away from the lion. Let's say that caveman Billy gets away from the lion. He will feel hungry and crave energy-rich foods. This is a second function of cortisol. It makes us want to eat so we can replenish the energy that was lost when we ran from the lion. But what if there was no lion? Ask yourself what causes you stress in your daily life. You may think of money, your job, or your relationships. None of these need immense amounts of energy like caveman Billy does when he runs from the lion. But even though you don't expend much energy in terms of calories on these concerns, cortisol is still released and you still feel like eating that half-gallon of ice cream while watching Netflix. Because our bodies are adapted to behave this way, too much stress stretched over a long period of time often leads to eating disorders that in turn lead to disease, depression, anxiety, and many other undesirable conditions. Mismatched diseases are particularly annoying in that they tend to develop gradually through habitual means. In other words, their causes are hard to detect because they take a long time to develop compared to other diseases, and they are very often caused by our lifestyles. And we all know how difficult it can sometimes be to change the way we diet, exercise, and react to situations. It is hard to determine just how much pollution contributes to the cancers sick Sally's developed. Its effects often aren't felt until years after it started occurring. She may have trouble avoiding such pollution as well because she is a habitual smoker. So the next time you find yourself habitually doing something, ask yourself, am I engaging in evolutionary mismatch? Here is a partial list of health problems for which there is some reason to hypothesize that they are either caused or exacerbated by evolutionary mismatch. Acid reflux, chronic heartburn, acne, anxiety, asthma, athlete's foot, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, bunions, certain cancers, carpal tunnel syndrome, cavities, and chronic fatigue syndrome.